Buenas tardes, señoritas y señores. Bienvenidos a Santa Fe, and welcome to the 12th Rugby World Under-20 Championship from the beautiful city of Santa Fe in Argentina, where the six-time champions New Zealand take on the tenacious Georgians. Sean Holly alongside me, and Sean, hola amigo.
Oh, delighted to be here, Willie, and really looking forward to this one. Can the Baby Blacks bounce back after a disappointing Oceania defeat to Australia? And looking forward to seeing the progress the Georgians are making.
Well, they did get thrashed a number of years ago, but we'll just run through the three pools that are here in Argentina for 2019. And in Pool A hosts Wales, newly promoted Fiji, and 2018 defending champions France make up that pool. Their matches will be played at the Racecourse Stadium in Rosario. Pool B has Australia, Italy, Six Nations champions Ireland, and three-time winners England as well. And Australia getting off to a very good start earlier today, winning that match by 36 points to 12. Pool C has the 2012 champions South Africa, who also started their campaign with a convincing win of 43-19 over Scotland, Georgia, and six-time champions New Zealand. Glorious conditions here, and the most successful team, New Zealand, against the ever-improving Georgia, the second time Argentina has hosted the World Rugby Under-20 Championships. Both captains earlier met with the referee just to go through a few things. Andrea Piatti from Italy there. To the left you can see the Georgian first five, Tero Abzanadze, and the Baby Blacks, Keanu Keredu Symes. And Georgia have won the toss, and they've decided that they will play away from the sun in the first 40 minutes. And let's have a look at this New Zealand team. It's a big pack. They've got plenty of class. Flanders is back after appearing in 2018. Plumtree is a name very familiar to a lot of people in New Zealand. And as for the backs, well, Whainga Nuku was here in 2018. And Eteni Nanai Seturo, the young 19-year-old, has already played Super Rugby and also has appeared for the All Black Sevens side. And Georgia also bring back plenty of class from 2018. They're a big pack. Jivaladze in the front row, and also Jinjadze is a prop, but he's going to be playing lock today, so that's a different strategy from their coach. Abdazadze, as we mentioned, is their outstanding captain, who's already had 7 caps for the Georgian team. And Chichi Nadze wears jersey number 15. And in a trial, Sean, they've decided that 16, 17 and 18 not negotiable, but 5 from 19 through to 28 can be used.
Yeah, so the coaches get to select now from a greater pool of players, looking after the player welfare, of course, but once those 8 replacements have been made, Willie, then that is that.
six-time gold medalist New Zealand against the giant killers Georgia in the 2019 World Rugby Under-20 Championships. You can see that the Georgians, a little bit of gamesmanship here, keeping the Baby Blacks waiting, and glorious conditions here in Santa Fe. Woke to a beautiful morning, and the conditions are nigh on perfect, and a very good crowd here as well.
Oh, it's fantastic to see. A lot of school kids here as well, Willie, and I've just watched the Georgians warm up a little bit outside, very physical. I think New Zealand can expect a bit of an encounter with these guys.
Well, the Georgians were thrashed 55-0 in 2016. They've been in the tournament since then, and the big question is, can they compete with some of the big teams? Of course, 3 wins in 2018. They've secured their position here as they make their way out to this magnificent stadium, and a very, very intelligent crowd have gathered here to watch this big match. New Zealand, of course, finishing 4th last year in France, and a result that they weren't happy with. And Georgia, well, that was their best result, 9th. They were 10th in 2016, 10th in 2017, and 8th. In fact, they were 9th last year. There's some of the big tall timber from the Baby Blacks, and you mentioned having a look at the Georgians warm up outside just moments ago, and they actually stayed out there around 5 minutes longer than the New Zealanders, and that's the reason why they kept them waiting.
Yeah, and in this heat, you know, the New Zealanders will be a little bit impatient. You know, a lot of players in that team in their first Under-20 World Championships. The Georgians got some big guys in that front 5 in particular. So it's going to be an interesting battle. Maybe the class of the New Zealand backs against the grunt of the Georgian forwards.
Damas y caballeros, nos ponemos respetuosamente de pie para entonar los respectivos himnos nacionales. Es el turno de escuchar el himno nacional de Nueva Zelanda. Ahora es el turno de escuchar el himno nacional de Georgia.
The passion and emotion from both of these sides for the respected national anthems, and now we await the challenge, as known in New Zealand as the haka.
Damas y caballeros, les pedimos silencio y respeto mientras Nueva Zelanda realiza el haka.
The shape of the spear angling towards the opposition. The challenge has been laid down, and this is a very inexperienced forward pack for the New Zealanders, but they've got plenty of class. Names like Grace, Plumtree and Flanders, and in the back line, keep an eye on Quinn Tupaia, who led that haka along with Whainganuku, and Nanai Saturo, who has played Super Rugby and also had a stint with the New Zealand All Blacks Sevens team. Their coach is Craig Philpotts. And Georgia, well, they've brought 9 players back from 2018, their most successful year. And Chenjaradze, wearing jersey number 4, is a prop down in the program, but they're going to use him in the second row. Koriauli wears number 8, and also the experience of their captain, Tero Abzenadze. Plenty of replacements to draw on as well. It's a trial that they are experimenting in 2019. 16, 17 and 18 must be used. They can't use anybody else, but anybody from 19 through to 28. Of course, 5 can only come from those players that are there. World-class officials here with us in Argentina as well. Big moments for Andrea Piardi. The Italian referee is going to be ably assisted on the sideline by Rasta Vange and also Emilio Caverso.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arranca el partido.
Revez Lehana from New Zealand gets us underway. The All Black strip of New Zealand up against Georgia in the maroon and grey, and that's a nice run from Chichinadze. Young 19-year-old involved in the championship tournament last year in France, and now they look to change the point of attack. It's a maul, so they've got to get to ground and get the ball out as quick as they can. And they can't do that, so New Zealand get the first scrum of the match.
Well, good little run there from Chinchadze, the fullback, Willie, but you can see early mentality from the Georgians. Up the middle of this all-black team. I'm going to be intrigued by the 10 battle between Rehana and Abanzadze. You know, 2 quality players, both kick a lot of points. And Rehana weighing in at 94 kilos. Quite a big lad for a 10, eh?
One of only 2 players out of Auckland, the biggest city, and it's only contributed a couple of players, and that was a talking point. But there's no question that the young men that are here representing New Zealand certainly deserve to be here. And now it's the first scrum of the game. Leroy Carter Gets it back to Flanders, and New Zealand wanting to play with pace. Straight away, it's in the hands of Tupaia. Now out to Whainganuku. Lester Whainganuku, his brother, Tima, played in the 2017 team that won the competition in Georgia. Again, it's clear they go a little bit wider to their captain on this occasion. Midfield set, options left and right. They bounce back to the left, and it's Tane Plumtree, the 19-year-old, 6'7". Lock, the wide pass, it was quick, and Herbert tried to get it to the winger, but it's gone out.
Good signs from the Georgian defence. It was a good attack, early interventions from both locks, Cullen Grace and Tane Plumtree, but the Georgians held firm up fast on the outside.
Like the look of this hooker as well, Luka Nioradze. Boy, he's the perfect shape to be in the front row. First line-outs for the Georgians. They balk left and right, and then they get an easy jump down the back of the line-out. Good set piece from the young Georgian team. The junior Lelos. Alania gets it back to his skipper. Abzanadze makes a nice purchase, kicking the ball in between Forbes and Whainganuku. Well, Forbes has just skied that into the stand, and that is an error from the New Zealand fullback.
Well, that was a disastrous kick, but what a great kick from the captain, Abzanadze. We saw in the first game here at Santa Fe a bit of a breeze coming from behind the Georgian team to this sort of far right corner where we're sat in commentary, really. And, that's a good start from Abzanadze.
The trickery at the first line-out worked to perfection. Now they've gone back to the standard full line-out. Is it the money ball at 2, or do they go again to the back? Even in difficult conditions, the line-out is accurate. They bring it in, and this is part of Georgian play. They love to roll their sleeves up and get in the ditches. Now, Alania has been told that he's got to use it, and they give it to Sinzadze. A little bit slow to get there. New Zealand are there quicker, and I think it's their captain, Kennedy Symes, who does the work as a loose forward.
Well, it's added value from your hooker and captain, isn't it? But there's an early warning sign for Georgia that if they get their forwards tied up in set piece, then New Zealand are going to be all over them at that tackle contest.
33 points he scored at the Oceania Championships, where they lost to Australia by 24 points to 0. And have a look at this.
Yeah, look at the hooker. Great technique, a wide base. Look at his strong legs. And he's over that ball. And the Georgian arriving players are just too late.
Line out works well for the Baby Blacks. Quick hands out to Tupaia. He loves the contact, does the young 20-year-old out of the Waikato region in the middle of the North Island. Well, more towards the north in the middle. But now they're isolated, and good work this time from the Georgians. Chichaladze.
Tit for tat, eh, you know. The referee, Andrea Piardi's going to have to be right up with play on this one. Both teams jackling hard over the ball, but already we've seen quite a smart start from Rivez Rehana. Looks assured at 10, organising his troops around him.
Well, when we were doing these team lists, we had a look at that number 4 for Georgia and noticed that he's down the program as a prop. Look at this, you just can't move him. Right over the ball.
They're big men, they're strong men. Georgia, they love their weight training, and there's going to be a huge contest in there.
Having been there in 2016, and it was certainly an honour, a fantastic event. They love their food as well, just quietly.
It's a maul.
They bring the ball down and now look to try and control it. New Zealand send in a lot of troops with good body positions to drive them backwards. Now they reset. The ball's got to be kept in the back, and everybody in front just needs to keep working, and that's what they're doing. Coming through the middle is Grace. They've disrupted it here and illegally.
That's a clear game plan, isn't it, from their line out? They want to go tight to the maul. Their body positions are good. New Zealand did very well there. Cullen Grace swam through the middle, then was told by the referee to detach himself, but they'd won the penalty, and you'd like to think, you know, this guy is test material, that should be a straightforward kick. But an interesting start, Willie.
Tito Abzanadze, 7 caps for Georgia. He scored 32 points in test matches. He made his debut against Samoa in 2018. This is the first kick He's studying medicine at the Tbilisi Medical University.
He's got it all, this kid. He looks pretty good too, and he started the game confidently. Both 10s have. And let's see if he's got his kicking boots on in this big one.
And he can self-diagnose himself, I suppose, if he's a doctor. He moves in, calm as you like, makes good contact. First points for Georgia.
Well, what a start from Georgia, and they've come out with real intent. I said I watched them in the warm-up. They were right up for this one, and New Zealand already know they're in the game. He never looked like missing it.
Well, that's their first points they've scored against them as well, Sean. It's a big test for them. They were thrashed by New Zealand 3 years ago. And look at them now. They're leading by 3 points to 0, 7 gone.
What's that?
Through the middle they go. New Zealand now called on to do some defending here, but they keep driving the legs and looking for some extra meters. In comes Flanders on the counter-attack. It's all under control here, and now Kuriauri wears jersey number 8, and he'll pick and go. In the close channels, they get over the advantage line that gives the halfback Alania a chance to get up and get in there. In the pocket is the captain. Abzanadze, that's a nice kick down to where Rehana fields it and gives it to the fullback, Forbes. Forbes goes wider to Nanai Seturo, the chip kick. Well read by Alania. Taken in a tackle, and the assistant referee's got his flag out. There's the penalty.
It's high. Just a penalty. Okay.
I think the assistant, Emilio Traverso's come in saying it's just a penalty. Didn't wrap his arms in the tackle, and this is something World Rugby are looking closely at, Willie. You know, player welfare, high challenges, and good early confirmation from the officials.
Well, Mikael Alania that you see there getting up, thankfully, and he is back on his feet. His father, Kaka, 25 caps for Georgia. So he comes from good stock. And there's the tackle from Nanai Seturo. They're both slipping at the same time.
Yeah, mitigating circumstances, you know, both players falling, and good decision from the officials. But you have to say, Georgia is looking very organised, aren't they?
Stop. I cannot hear Santiago.
Yeah, let me show you.
Well, they're going to have a look at something now because Hawkeye has picked up something. Maybe it's the contact area.
Let me show you. Possible foul play.
Wait, Santi, wait. I cannot hear you. I have a problem with the comms.
If you're with us at home, you can hear that. The
Now? Can you hear me?
Now, yeah. Now I can hear you, yeah.
Andrea, let me show you the dangerous tackle.
Yep.
Okay. It's possible foul play.
I cannot hear you again.
See number 6. Number 14, sorry.
Okay.
Well, this is why we have Hawkeye technology. Really looking at the replays.
So we are talking about an eye tackle or a shoulder charge?
Probably looking at contact to the head here, Willie.
Yeah, my only problem with this is when we saw it at real time, both players were actually falling as they came into the contact area. If you're going to slow it down, it's always going to look worse than it actually is. Player safety, absolutely 1,000%. But look, you can see he's slipping. And in the process of doing that, there's no intent.
All the angles.
Okay. So what I'm saying is an eye tackle by my 14. No, the number, please.
14.
14. And but the white player slapped just before the contact. So I will give a yellow card for that. So
Agree.
it's a mitigation factor. I know there is a contact with the head, but the mitigation factor is the white player slapped just before the tackle.
I agree with you, Andrea.
But good decision, well worked out. This is the new framework the officials have.
Good decision.
Number 14, please. 14.
So Etienne Nanai Seturo,
Okay.
a gold medalist at the Commonwealth Games, is going to the Naughty Boys chair.
Well, we'll see. You'll hear
So
the referee's
let me explain
decision.
There is an eye tackle made by you. There's a contact with the head with the shoulder by the white players leapt just before the tackle. So the mitigation factor is a yellow card.
So there you go, clear contact to the head. The referee will ask himself, is foul play evident? So the contact to the head suggests yes, but the mitigating factor is that the Georgian player was slipping, Willie, therefore it is only a yellow card and not a red.
New Zealand down to 14 players for the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
Georgia, this is crucial that they try and use the numerical advantage to get some points here.
Time back on.
Luka Nioradze finds a new player that's come on. Lasha Gashvili is on in jersey number 19. Gavaladze, the big bopper. 122 Ks. Now wide up. Koriauli gets it there, and now they need to secure possession. It looks like it could have been turned over, but no. Still in the hands of the Georgian, and now it's Asa Rashvili. We're in jersey number 3. Kolotauri, the 19-year-old, 91K open side flanker, and now Alania gets it out to the captain. They try and work something. It's gone backwards, and now Chichinadze sees plenty of grey shirts in front of him. That's his teammates. Sets a target now. Abdinadze spots some land in the back where Nanai Saturo would be if he wasn't in the seats. Nice gain.
Yeah, patient build-up from Georgia, but they're going to need to offer a little bit more to break this New Zealand defensive line down. But it was in midfield, which meant Cole Forbes, the fullback, was very central, and Abanzadze, there's all that experience, hitting the grass in the corner.
New Zealand winners in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 15 and 17. All in front of them at the moment as they look to work it from inside their own half through McLeod. Back to Rehana. Nice exit play from the Baby Blacks.
Yeah, spot on, Willie. Lovely exit, patient, knew exactly what they were doing, well rehearsed. And they've drilled the ball outside of their 22. We'll say playing into a little bit of a breeze here at Santa Fe.
Georgians not afraid to take on the bigger sides now, in particular in the forwards. They win the line out again to Gurusha Rashvili. He's wearing jersey number 6. It's slow ball for them. Eventually comes back to Abzanadze. He takes it to the line, beats Rehana, but now the crowd holds him up. It's a maul, beautifully ripped by Chinchiradze. Been involved in everything, has the loose head lock. Again in the pot of 3. Into the contact they go.
No. 7-7. You're the second man in.
Abzanadze gives a nice pass to Chichinadze, and now they get it wide. The tackle from Flanders. Coming in on his opposite, and now here goes Nioradze, the hooker. Went off the foot of the halfback and right in front of the ref.
Yeah, by touch your player, so he's a scrum.
There's the explanation.
Excellent defence from New Zealand again. Well, you can see the position on the field where the original lineup was just outside the 22. Georgia, a number of phases, but not really going anywhere. It's all sort of back and forth stuff. As you see here now, that was the carry after the knock-on. It just squirted out from that ruck.
In the first,
referee Piardi deems it as a knock-on. As we see it again.
Try to speak now.
New Zealand dominating territory. Georgia dominating possession.
Can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me now?
No,
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Happy?
Yep.
Correct. Bye. Set.
13 minutes gone in this, the opening round of the 2019 Under-20 World Championships, and now Rehana grabs it along the ground. Whanganuku is racing, so is Tapaya. Slides in like he's going into home base in baseball. Whanganuku picks up and goes. The release out to Herbert. Man out of the Bay of Plenty region. They pick and go again. It's Whanganuku. Back in his second year of the World Rugby Under-20s. Nice offload Short ball to Finau. Finau goes 4 short. Nuku again gets involved. Quickly it's recycled. Reihana. They've got numbers out to the right. Tapia gets it one wider. Here's the first try to New Zealand. And Tane Plumtree gets in to score.
Well, what a score from the Baby Blacks. It all came from a left-footed grubber from that man, Reihana at 10, but my goodness, Lester Nuku probably touched the ball 3 or 4 times on that occasion, and when it eventually came out, it was easy pickings for the second row. Plumtree goes over under the post, and in their first real attack, the Baby Blacks score the first try.
They've done it with 14 players on the field. Nanai Saturo. Still his time. And Tane Plumtree out of the Wellington region. His father, John Plumtree, well known to New Zealanders, of course, the coach of the Hurricane Super Rugby team, had success in South Africa as well with the Curry Cup with the Sharks. And I'm sure, John, that you'll be watching wherever you are in the world, and you must be very proud of your son. He's picked up the first 5-pointer for New Zealand in 2019 at these championships.
Also coached Swansea, my home. Did very well back in the day. As Reihana knocks over the 2 extra points. Well, huge warning signs for Georgia. It was easy in the end. The ball went on a bounce, but Plumtree found himself in midfield. But Lester Nuku, if they can get the ball into his hands, Willie, then it's going to be try time for the Baby Blacks.
Got involved a lot, didn't he? Leicester, Offa, Key Wales, Twickenham, Nuku. That is some name.
Well, his dad must have had a good tour of the UK some time ago.
Abzanadze goes down to the right-hand side. It's taken by Flanders inside the own 22, and now runs straight into the shoulder of Gavaladze. They miss a few players, some decoys, and then they bring in another and get it out to Forbes. Forbes with the dummy up from fullback. Now the New Zealanders look to try and go to work through the middle, using Grace out of the Canterbury region, out of the South Island. Reihana, first receiver, gives it off to Newell, who was called in as a replacement in 2018. Reihana to Tapia. He runs into the shoulder of Gusharashvili. Newell again, out of the South Island. Carter gets driven backwards, but New Zealand still have the ball under control. Almost up to the first quarter of the game. New Zealand with the try, leading 7-3. And it's Nuku. Carter gets it out, and that's a nice ball to Finau. He shows some footwork. Finau, sweeping a beat, pops the ball up. Forbes gets it in. Carter, he gets it one wider, and Herbert, one of the tries of the tournament so far. 17 pairs of hands, and Cohan Herbert may have scored.
We just want to have a look at touch, please.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to have a look at touch, really.
So after the decision is a try, just check potential man in the touch.
Okay, on-field decision try, check, touch, okay?
Thank you.
Superb play from New Zealand. The first try has settled them, that's for sure. But it's the catch pass and the tip-on passes from the forwards. As we look at it again, he gets in the air. I think it's a try, Willie. He's done so well. He's aware of the touchline. Cohen Herbert.
This will annoy a few Australian viewers because he was Australian born, played for the Australian secondary schools. And now wearing the black jersey of New Zealand, the 19-year-old out of the Bay of Plenty area scored 3 tries against Japan in the Oceania competition. I think this will get the green lights.
I think so too. He did well. He knew what his feet were. He knew with the flag in the line when you...
Yep.
You may have got to try.
Yeah.
Thank you. Time back on.
Yeah, for all the young players out there, you can use the corner flag post. If you're in the air, you're not in touch. And Herbert was well aware of that. But I've got to go back to the build-up. You know, the interplay, the forwards and backs, you know, Finau bursting through, and the support play of these New Zealand players they've settled into this game now, and it looks ominous for Georgia.
I kind of get the feeling that Australia may have done New Zealand a favour at the Oceania Championships.
Yeah, you can just imagine the team talking the preparation, can you?
Well, I think they might have needed a new coat of paint on the changing room after it. And there would have been a little bit of soul searching done from these young men in black. And they've responded in perfect fashion. While they were down to 14 players, they've scored 12, possibly 14. Rehana just pushes it in front of the post, and so 2 tries to 1. And New Zealand still with only 14 players on the field.
And Georgia need to be aware of their spaces. Look at that tip-on pass that puts Finau through on a great line. And he's so aware of his support, backs his pace, but he knows he's got players arriving. There's the fullback, falls back in, and the scrum half doing so well to offload to Herbert, and his awareness of the touchline, fantastic.
It's that man again. Can't keep him out of the action at the moment. It's Finau. Carter. Back to Newell. They look interested in the steal here, Georgia, but New Zealand have got it under control, and now Carter will kick. Leroy Carter with the kick, the box kick or the high kick, down to where it's taken by Chichinadze. He kicks in field. Forbes comes across. Caught there just outside the red zone, but now they look interested. To Georgia, comes back to Leroy Carter. He carried it back, so he can't kick it out on the full. Up to Nadze. Returns it with interest, the high kick. Claimed by Rehana, tackled by his opposite.
Chichinadze, he's looked lively, has he, in this first 20 minutes?
He's done everything. As the Georgian fullback, like the captain. Now it's Carter. Had to get away from a few of the big boppers in close there, and now the ball's gone backwards from McLeod. Backs and forwards getting involved, and now Rehana to Fainganuku. The left foot kick across the field. Herbert looked interested, but he's lost it forward, and finally Georgia will get some possession in this game.
It's a run.
Penalty.
Yeah, just a bit frustrated there, Herbert. Credit referee Piardi, let 2 advantages go. Play went on there. Interesting crossfield kick from Fainganuku. And Herbert nearly got it, but Georgia's still in this game, but they just look like they've had the stuffing knocked out of them, those 2 fabulous tries.
And New Zealand will get their winger back.
Guys, 20 minutes gone.
After this passage of play, Nanai Saturo's been standing there what seemed like a lifetime trying to get back on the park, and that is not going to go out. Up to Nadze, into the big number 8, Koriauli. He gets it out to Chichinadze. That pass looked like it drifted flat. And now, a good break here, looking for some support on the inside. Kavdaradze does the right option of holding on to the ball, and now it's cleared. Great run from Kiriauli, and Finau was there to meet him.
It's back.
Kia ora, he says.
It's a great ball.
Another turnover at that breakdown. Great shot from Finau, and they'll get a penalty here. It's winning.
Finau's everywhere. He's the one giving the penalty on the floor, and he was so instrumental in the second try, and then stopped a sure try as Koriauli went through after a great break from Kavtaradze. And Georgia now, who had a couple of early mauls with a 5-meter lineup to get back into this game. It's still New Zealand, 14 men.
No, they've got 15, because I've just seen Saturo go back to the wing. Nanai Saturo, so
He's on.
look at that for a hit. Boom. Sit down, son. They need to get points here, Georgia. They've conceded 2 quick tries, and now they go down the left-hand flank. Pick and go. Can they hold on to possession and not get isolated?
Stay on side, Black.
Pick and goes in, quick one. Now they're just metre short. Again, they go the same way. Using the player in behind to use his body weight. Again, the pick and go from Azarashvili. They get it out to the backs now. The dummy from the captain, almost through Abzanadze. New Zealand thought they'd stolen it. Alania gets it out to Lashagashvili. Picked up, driven forward. Now it's in the hands of the number 8, Koriauli. Alania gets it out to the hooker, Nioradze. Nioradze's close. You heard the referee in perfect position. Koriauli is in there playing halfback. He just drops it off. Jivaladze, the prop, takes it up. They're close now. The referee comes around from the other side. Going to war here are the Georgians. 9 phases, millimeters. This time they dummy and go. Nioradze. Great defense from New Zealand.
Amazing from the Baby Blacks. It's a real test for them. They're just inches from the line.
This time it pops up. Whanganuku gets his left foot and says, let's get out of here. Wonderful defense from New Zealand.
Absolutely unbelievable from the young New Zealand team. It's so difficult to defend your own line when there's low ball carries coming in from big men, but they've got underneath them and stopped them somehow from getting over the line. So many phases, so close to the line. And what a contrast in styles. We're seeing New Zealand tip the ball on, offload for 2 great tries. Georgia blasting at the New Zealand defence. Look how low they are, so close to the ruck, and eventually it squirms out. Whanganuku can clear the ball. Superb from the Baby Blacks.
They wouldn't be too thrilled with the discipline of losing Etienne Nanai Saturo, but it didn't seem to affect them over that 10-minute period where they were down to 14.
I think there's a message to the Georgian players and coaches that, you know, you have to find a different way to work out this New Zealand defence. They've tried to go very direct from the maul. They've tried to go pick and go, and the New Zealanders are having none of it.
Now look at the amount of tackles that they've had to make in the opening 24 minutes.
Let's go.
87 tackles made between them, but 49 by the New Zealanders, and they've missed 8. Georgians having missed 1 more.
See it again, this try coming from New Zealand. Bit of a lucky bounce, but they've done the hard work as Plumtree goes over, and the second try, well, it's like something out of barbarian rugby.
Georgia have had 42 carries for 93 metres. New Zealand 43 for 190. That's been the difference. The ability to use the ball and get it wide. But this is a nice set piece again from this young junior Lelos. Nioradze.
First stop.
Finals come through the middle legally.
Black is legal.
Now they're going to have to use their upper body strength here, Georgia, to rip it clear. And they're going to have to go to ground because it's a maul. Be a turnover, but it does come out. Alania gets it out to Jivaladze. Now the 2 props go to work together. Azarashvili into the contact. Out to Abzanadze, the missed pass, and now Chinchinadze. He's rejected. And there is a knock on. Nioradze's been good for them too. The dummy and then release it to the captain. The kick over the top will bounce. Whanganuku is there, but no advantage. They'll come back for the penalty.
Well, it was a great intervention from Cole Forbes, the fullback. I think it's just a knock on, but the fullback joined the line. It's that man, Chinchinadze, again.
Or offside number 4 here.
Well, there's a double penalty. There's an offside in midfield as well against Cullen Grace. But again, that man Fino did so well at the ball. He swam through. You've got to keep your bind if you're defending the maul. He did that, and he got hold of the ball and stopped it again at source. And this is all Georgia can really salvage out of their possession at the moment, Willie, and that's a potential another 3 points from Abadzadze.
We talk about this wonderful invention, or not invention, but this wonderful championship at World Rugby of combining the under-19s and the under-21s. And over the 12 tournaments, New Zealand has produced 46 graduates. There's a few there too. There's some big names like Bowden Barrett, Sam Whitelock, Brodie Retallick,
Can you give me the time?
Hardy and Julian Severe, Sam Kane. Same for Georgia as their captain, looks to try and close that deficit. Does just that, brings it to 6.
Well, it's good to see they're rewarded for all their effort. They do need to work something out tactically, though, to really get through this New Zealand defence, but they're staying in the game.
And once again, Georgia showing the quality of being involved in this competition.
7 minutes gone.
55-0 3 years ago. I know there's still plenty of time to go. I was there doing that game and they were down by 30 at the same stage. As Lehana takes it to the line. Lashigashvili makes a good tackle on him and they get it out to where one of the runners, it's Newell, Fletcher Newell, the 20-year-old tight head prop. Forbes thought about kicking and then the ball out to Nanai Saturo. He's got one of the best steps in the game. Finau. They're using the backs and forwards and they use McLeod to punch it up in the midfield. Carter.
No. Was that? Nothing on.
Nothing on for Flander and close, so he gets it back to his half and Carter, and now Forbes gets it out. That looks like it drifted forward and the referee agrees from Plumtree.
No.
Playing with a lot more freedom, are the New Zealanders?
Yeah, they are. Both locks are heavily involved a lot, and they're clearly good ball handlers. Cullen Grayson, Ting, Plumtree, but Georgia's defence is good. There's a few hands on knees there. You just wonder if the Baby Blacks get a lot of possession, whether they'll be able to cope. As we see here now, it's Cullen Grayson in the outside channel again with an offload that went forward, but there's such good carriers and offloaders. Dallas McLeod, you mentioned, in the centre, 12 and 99 kilos. Rehana himself's a big man, and you add that to some of the quality up front.
Well, you mentioned the difference, and it's there in the offloads for New Zealand as well. The meters made, 190, but 8 offloads. That's what's hurting the Georgian defence. They haven't got a chance to reset, and the referees have told us that they want to make sure that the scrums have separation before the engagement.
Hold the pressure, don't put enough pressure.
And they've got to hold the pressure. This is a strong Georgian team.
Okay.
Trail by 6, 11 to play in this, the first game for these two sides. In Pool C of the 2019 World Rugby Under-20s.
It's a competitive first half hour, Willie. You know that Georgians is a different style, but they've had their possession, they've had their territory, they've kicked their points. It's just a little bit more class in that New Zealand side.
Don't forget, you can get in contact with us at World Rugby or hashtag World Rugby U20s.
Well done, Willie, social media expert.
I actually got on Twitter last night and had a look at the at World Rugby, because of course we did a little piece to camera yesterday of the 3 matches that have been played here, and it's been a good standard of rugby in this game. 30 minutes gone, plenty of action, plenty of running, plenty of endeavour as well from these two sides.
Yeah, good to see young players really expressing themselves. The officials doing well too. And a great crowd here at Santa Fe. A beautiful day.
Mikhail Alania from the Armas club in Georgia. They get the penalty.
Well, after all that, the pressure told.
Lost his bind.
He lost his bind on the New Zealand loosehead. Oliver Norris penalised on that
10
occasion.
minutes to go.
Thank you, Santi.
Referees like to see a long bind on the body of your opposite prop. And if you slip that, then you liable to penalty, and that's another lovely long kick from Abanzadze. He certainly looks a mature player, doesn't he?
Number 1 lost his bind.
I always say that you can tell the class of a player by how much time they have, and he looks like he's just so comfortable in that 10 spot.
Yeah, he looks confident. You can tell he's played Test rugby. And of course, the Georgian national team really progressing up the ranks forward then to seeing them play Wales in the World Cup in Japan later in the year.
Yeah, of course. May feature some of these young men that are on display here in Argentina as they go to the middle of the line, and it's stolen by New Zealand. And now they get it out to the backs. McLeod to Tupaia. He'll step and go through the first tackle. Carter gets it to, he's everywhere. It's Fletcher Newell. He's got a new lease of life, and the offload out the back to Grace is a beauty. Slow ball to Carter. Gets rid of the first defender, gets it to his first 5, and now out to Fainganuku. Steps, jinks, into the contact they go. New Zealand stacked out to the right-hand side. Here goes the captain. Kereru Symes, former New Zealand secondary school player, and he's really taken to the role of leading these young men around the park. Reihana, the dummy on the inside to Tupaia, no one bought it. Again, this time they give it to Tupaia. The Georgians, so strong. Tapaladze, oh, they've done well here, the Georgians. Terrific awareness of the rules. They can lie all over it now. And somehow, miraculously comes out on the New Zealand side. McLeod takes it into the defence. He's driven backwards. Carter. Leroy Carter. Better option is to hold on to it. Reihana plays half, and now Forbes gets it out to Nanai Saturo out on the right wing.
No.
Nice clear out from Herbert, had to be made. And they've got an advantage here. Plumtree gives it out now. McLeod to Finau. He deserves a try if anybody does in the black shirt. Again, they go wide. They've got numbers here, but that's Norris. Oliver Norris does well to buy a little bit of time to get the reinforcement. Now the ball over the top to Fainganuku. It's too long. 13 phases by the Baby Blacks.
Well, they played the advantage. It was a lot more direct that time. We didn't see too many tip-on passes, but my goodness, we saw some class from the props, Oliver Norris and Fletcher Newell. Here's the break from Newell. Look at that for a tight head prop. Great handoff, slipping off tackles, and then the offload out the back door. And this man, Fina, well, he must have some glue on his hands. He's everywhere.
Fantastic, the modern game, isn't it? These young men expressing themselves, the props that run and are able to give an assist pass out the back, unheard of in my day.
And the second rows, we've mentioned Finau at 6, Herbert scoring the try at 7. It's all action from the pack. Would like to see Willie, just a little pass out the back to Reihana. He's in good position. The forwards are now sucking in the Georgian defence. If they slipped it out the back to him, look out.
Well, they've put the open side flanker into halfback, which means one thing, they're going to drive here. They've got to win it first, and they do through Grayson now. They stack it on there, and they keep going out to the left. The Georgians sack it legally. McLeod wants it. Some of the forwards have put their hand up, and it's Grace who won it in the line-out. Here's this locking mate in Plumtree. Now it's George's turn to defend their line. They've given away the penalty. They can throw everything at it here. New Zealand. Carter to Reihana. Big pass out to Fainganuku. Steps. Now goes too short. Someone lost their boots, and it's in the stand in row Z. Finau puts the head down. Again, it's to the right, and there he is, Fletcher Newell. After throwing a nice pass, he shows his footwork. Carter to Plumtree. Halfway through the tackle, they go the same way. Tupaia offloads to McLeod. He buys a little bit of time, and McLeod will go in. The magician in jersey 12. He stood there, he looked around, then he said, I'll help myself to one.
Well, time told in the end. They kept battering away. Magnificent tackle from Chichindazi on Fainganuku in the corner, but they kept pounding away New Zealand. Dallas McLeod used his feet, his strength, and eventually the one-on-one took his toll. See Tupaia involved here. Look, it's just a little too high on him. He shrugs him off, bides his time, and has the gas to get over.
All clear.
It's a good time to score as well. As Georgia were holding on to within one score. New Zealand pull away yet again just before half-time.
Six-time champions New Zealand looking to make it 7 after the disappointment of 2018. You only get one shot at this competition every year, and so they've regrouped, they've spoken about it, and they've come out and played well in this opening game as Reihana gets the maximum. 3 to play. The 4th-ranked team of 2019, New Zealand, leading Georgia by 19-6.
Well, he did so well in the end. Dallas McLeod used his feet and his upper body strength. The Georgians just going so high, they defended so well. You have to take a big man like that round his legs. You can see here now a high tackle missed. And he doesn't need a second invitation. I think the Georgians have given away too many penalties in this sort of latter part of this half, and that's something for their coach Miraz to talk to them about at half-time.
Well, they're reading up the meters. New Zealand 271 now from the 75 carries. And again, they get more possession.
You put it in, play on. Hey.
Coming forward is Chichinadze. Does so well to get up and bring it down. He's off class. Chichinadze with the step. Now looking for the support. Beautiful pass to Tabladze. Tabladze in the corner. Just stepped out. Oh, wow.
Wow, indeed. Right from the catch, Chichinadze brings Georgia to life. Fantastic aerial skills, and then got away. And just at the last minute, it's the centre, Tabladze, who just gets tackled into touch by Fainanuku. A try-saving tackle from the winger.
They win the line out, New Zealand, and look to improve the position using McLeod. He's a big unit for a second 5 out of the South Island of Canterbury. In true Crusader style, takes it to the line, and now that one's up high. Marginashvili allows it to bounce. And the forwards in the black shirts say thank you very much.
Oh, relief for the Baby Blacks. Got that all wrong, let it bounce.
1 minute and a half to go.
And they'd be so relieved. New Zealand, what a break from the Georgian fullback.
Great contest this. Ball in the air, and now they give it out to Herbert, one of the try scorers. The same way, McLeod on this occasion gives it to Forbes. Nana Saturo. They know what a threat he is. They send in 3 defenders. Now here's Norris. Got his propping mate alongside him. The 2 popos working together. To Paya. To Kennedy Symes. They hold him up here. It's tackle now, they've got to release him. Carter. The Georgians won't want to concede any more points before the break. The New Zealanders have become the professionals of scoring right before the half-time hooter. Reihana to Tapaya. Tackled by Abzanadze. And they'll get a penalty here, holding on.
First man on the free.
Good work again from Azarashvili.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, just that pass out the back would be so much better. The Georgians are waiting for those front line. Doing really well to stop that attack. But you just listen on the referee, Mike. The hand catch and the catch and pass from these New Zealanders is superb. Every pass is out in front. Every pass is slick. All the catches are right out in front. And it makes such a difference in any form of rugby.
We have 40 minutes gone.
So we're into referee's time now. This will be the last passage of play. And Luka Azarashvili is already playing professional sport for Montpellier, the 19-year-old tight head prop for Georgia. Can they do a New Zealander on the Baby Blacks and score points inside referee's time?
If they do, they need to bring Chichinadze, the fullback, in because he's been outstanding.
They get the big number 8 up in the air, and now they give it out to Sinzaze. He's lost it forward though. McLeod, they want more points here. New Zealand Fainanuku got Forbes on the outside. That's a nice tackle coming in from Tabladze. Had to be made, so good contest that. Tabladze gets taken out, and now Fainanuku thought he could get through the gap. It shuts down. 3 tries to 0. And as
Andrea,
we
can you
head
hear
to
me
the
well?
break, it is the
Yeah.
Baby Blacks leading
Yes or
Georgia
no?
Yes.
by
Okay.
19 points
You're
to
happy with the
6.
communication?
Yeah, just the first 10 minutes. I can.
Final del primer tiempo.
Okay,
Resultado parcial.
Well done.
Nueva Zelanda 19, Georgia 6. Actualizamos el resultado de... Conversión de Nueva Zelanda. Jugador número 10, Rihanna. Resultado.
Obviously.
Gales 3. Resultado parcial. Nueva Zelanda 17, Georgia 6.
All clear, Andrea. All clear.
Right, mate. The World Rugby Under-20 Championships for 2019 got underway here in Argentina. A halftime score between the six-time champions New Zealand against Georgia was 19-6, and Sean Holly's alongside me. Sean, we mentioned it 3 years ago. It was New Zealand, and New Zealand, 55-0. This Georgia side has shown a lot of courage in that first 40 minutes.
Yeah, a lot to be encouraged about. You know, lots of possession. Plenty of territory, particularly in that first 20 minutes. They've tried to be direct. They were camped on New Zealand's line, but it's just a little bit of class in New Zealand. 14 offloads to just the one from Georgia. Meters made, 323 from New Zealand, 139 from Georgia. They've gone close, but not close enough. A little bit of skill and class that the Baby Blacks have has prevailed. And can Georgia score first in this second half to give them some renewed confidence?
Well, you've had the coach's shirt on for a number of years, for a number of decades actually. So Ilya Maizeradze, who actually played 21 tests for Georgia, what would he have told his team at half-time?
Well, I think they need something a little bit different, Willie. You know, they've gone really close with the pick and go, but New Zealand's defence is organised. They maybe need to move them around the corner a little bit more, stretch their defence, and defensively just cut out the penalties. Don't give New Zealand opportunities. And these forwards to tip on pass and bust through the line that we've seen for some great tries from New Zealand the first half.
Oh, they are big men from Georgia. They don't do anything small in Georgia. Kagadze's on in jersey 16. Tevdorashvili on in jersey 17. They look like two apartment blocks that are just standing next to each other. And then they've brought out Karashvili as well, so a whole new front row for Georgia.
Can we go? Emilia?
Georgia, who qualified 9th last year with the start. Now New Zealand through Finau, but he's lost it forward. And we'll get a chance to see the whole for the first time, the front row of Georgia, the changes that they've made. There they are, 16, 17, and 18. Imagine going shopping, food shopping with those three guys.
It looks like a car park, doesn't it? Multi-story car park. Look at the size of them. And sort of just the start that those three guys would have wanted. First minute of the second half, give me a scrum.
They live for these moments, don't they, front rowers?
Crouch. Bye.
New Zealand not taking the pressure,
I told you before.
pulling back, and so now, geez, they'll think that's a victory, and they want to go again.
They want to go again. They won't want to move from here, will you? I don't think.
You can move back. Okay? I asked you to hold the pressure. No.
Yeah, as a former player in that boiler house, will you know all about that? Cute tactics from the Baby Blacks, trying to, you know, con the referee a little bit, but there's no holding these Georgian front rowers back.
Crouch. Bye. Set.
Now they get tested, and they are put under the pump as well. They respond well. Here's another penalty.
You asked me what the coach would have said at halftime. I think I know what he would have said to those front rowers, and they've got exactly what they wanted at the start of the second half. They charged up. Abadzadze, I'm sure, will go to the corner to try and get Georgia right back in this game early in the second half. What a start.
Well, they pride themselves at the set piece, in particular the scrum. And we've seen that with their national side as well, who are very, very dominant. So many of their props now playing rugby full-time in France.
Yeah, it's rubbing off, isn't it? You know, that's for sure.
Thank you.
And of course, the hooker, Kakadze, he's played Test rugby. He's played for Aurillac in France. And Racing 92, Karagashvili, the new tight end. Plenty of experience there now.
Let's see how his throwing skills are. Perfect.
More.
As you would expect, they get it back, and it's a maul. They've got to keep the ball at the back. You can see that Grace came through the side. He would never come through the middle, but Tedorashvili breaks off. They need to score here, Georgia, to get back in the contest. The kick along the ground, bounced up. They'll get the penalty.
Advantage number 4.
That's a change in tactic, and it was a good option.
It was, and it was brilliantly blocked by Rehana. He intercepted it with his foot, I think. Read the kick from Abadzadze.
Ninth penalty conceded by New Zealand, and this is where you need an experienced captain talking to the referee, just reminding him of where the infringements are and just asking him about whether he's brought his yellow cards with him.
Well, New Zealand senior teams of old, Sean Fitzpatrick, I think the young hooker, kid who signs the captain, has learned from him.
Karagadzak, same formula, same line out jumper, they split and go out towards the right to the best. Over! Oh, tremendous moment for Georgia. Their first ever try against New Zealand. Oh, it's been worth the wait.
Look at them celebrate. What a try from Georgia. Credit the players, yes, Willie, but credit the coach for making the substitution. The front rows have made a huge impact from the off in this second half. Not just at the scrum, but the tactic at the maul. Brilliant lineup. Guruyashvili has been the man of the lineup. Then they peel off the back, and those big men drive over. Just look at Kakadze, the hooker, celebrate. What a moment for Georgia.
Vaktang Jinjaradze, the 19-year-old, 150 Ks. He normally plays in the front row, playing lock for his country on this occasion. And that is a question, I'm sure, in Georgia trivia in years to come. Many will know. First try ever. Abadzadze continues to show why he's all class. And all of a sudden, Georgia trail by 6.
Well, that's going to ask questions of this New Zealand team. They're back in it. They need to be aware of this Georgian replacement bunch. They've been so spirited, the Georgians, in that first half.
Oh, he's done everything. Guruyashvili, he's won the line out. He's just taken a beautiful kick from the kickoff to secure possession. That's exactly what you want after you've scored points, and now into the pocket where Abadzadze sends it into the high sky in Santa Fe. Rehana grubbers it back to him, so just a little game of chess between the two first fives. Some real estate out on the right-hand side, and he's got there, has Rehana. He returns it with interest. Here's your favourite player, Chichinadze. Nice kick from the left foot. Good neck gain.
He can do it all, can't he? But disappointing from Abanzadze. There was a lot of space in that far right corner before Rehana got there. Didn't quite get hold of it. But their tails are up, my goodness.
We discussed it at half-time, and so I hope the wheels wouldn't fall off this Georgian team. Are you kidding me? They are performing regardless, even if it's only on one tyre. Good strength. Karagadze. Now they work together well again. It's a nice carry. Tevadashvili.
I think Abanadze needs to think about the kicking game. They're not going to get through New Zealand here, battering one-up runs, as we see Herbert rip the ball.
And it has been too. The open side flanker gets it back. McLeod gives it to Rehana, and now here goes Forbes. They've got a man down, have Georgia, so they're defending with 14-12 up in the line. Rehana looks for some width, gives it to McLeod. Here's Finau. He's been involved in everything. The clean-out's good.
Really well defended by Georgia. Man down there.
Carter.
Advantage over.
Chichinadze changes his body to make sure he doesn't knock it on. If it was to hit his chest, it would go back. But that's gone straight up in the air. The contest for the up and under is won by the Baby Blacks.
Pause there. Your 8, please.
Rehana claps, wants it. Carter gives it back to his skipper. Throws a dummy and then gives it to Newell. Fletcher Newell's been used so well. He's been instrumental in this game. And Nanai Saturo to McLeod. The kick. Alania should win the race, does. Gets to his feet. He's done well. The little halfback to secure possession. Now they slow things down. Abanzadze will just position himself in the pocket, it's called, which is right behind where the ruck is.
Yes.
They're going to have to use it now. Alania gets to the ball, gives it back to his skipper and says, get us out of here.
Well, that'll settle New Zealand down a little bit in this second half. We haven't seen a lot of Nanai Saturo apart from his yellow card, but we did see a bit of magic from him there. Just getting Dallas McLeod up that touchline and put the scrum half Alania under pressure. And here we see the try again. The back peel to the big men. You know, well drilled, well coached, a good decision from the players and well executed. Gets Georgia back in the game.
Overthrown. Means the Georgians full of running, quick hands. Now they get over the advantage line. Nanai Saturo's got to be careful with that shoulder. Quick hands again, they've got some space here. The dummy coming back against the grain is Zinzadze. Here is the captain, look at them now. Nice offload again. The try scorer, Gingeradze. Abanzadze gets it. Sees some real estate, kicks it and just overcooked it.
Well, the thought was right, really, you know, that's what I talked about a bit earlier. It's just changing the picture, some great play to get out of territory. And then there was a lot of space in that left-hand corner. He just overcooked it.
Open, open, open. Keep coming.
Well, we've got a game on here.
There's going to be some sore bodies in the recovery session tomorrow. They are putting everything into this game. 50 gone, 6 points the difference as Finau gives it to his half, and now McLeod chips it into a little bit of space. Chichinadze was racing up, but going back to secure possession was Gusharashvili.
Didn't he do well for the hooker? My goodness.
New Zealand get the feed.
Well, you can see the tactic there. It's a good tactic when you defend a hooker off the tail of the line out. You could perhaps win that race. It was a lovely little dink through, but Kakadze showing all his experience to get back there.
Number 9. Subs.
And there is the carries from New Zealand for the meters that they have made. Substantial difference there.
It's gone.
Onto the field comes the Fro. Funaki, 18-year-old. They know that he's going to be around for a couple of years, and there's big raps on this young halfback out of Auckland. He is A very good player.
Crouch. Bye.
I used to have a hairstyle like that,
Set.
Sean, if you can believe that, in my younger days.
Looking at you now, I don't believe you.
Yeah, I know. Big scrum from Georgia. Flanders says, let's get out of here. Ray Hunter with a kick. Nuku flying, but it's found the touchline.
Again, you can see a little bit about what Craig Philpott would have talked about at halftime. They just want to turn the Georgians, put little kicks through. We've seen 2 or 3 now, just turn them and tire them.
There you go, the own lineouts. Just the 2 lost for both teams. Karagadze playing his rugby in France, gets it to the money ball in the front, and now Alania just puts it high in the air, lets the wind work its magic, but Nuku does brilliantly to keep it in play. Funaki out to Keredu Symes. Rehana. No, nice at Turo Forbes. In fact, that's Tapaya. No, nice at Turo throws the dummy. First up tackle's been made by the Georgians, but New Zealand getting up and over the advantage line. Here goes Grace. Not amazing. It's Cullen Grace.
Great service on this young Funaki. He just puts that one a little bit too far in front of his player, but it's sharp.
Quick hands again. Forbes to the line. You can see how quickly the support is there to secure possession. 6 phases. The front rowers go to work together. Norris goes 5 short. Funaki into Nuku. Just strength. Absolute strength got him there. And New Zealand bring up their 4th try.
Great response from the Baby Blacks. Good approach play. Nana Saturo is starting to get into the game. But the young Tufa Funaki at scrum half.
Thank you.
To Fayanaka, who's almost like an Aaron Smith to Rick Ione. But this man had all the strength on the reverse pass from the replacement scrum half to get over. And we said in the first half, didn't we? If he got his hands on the ball, it could be close to try time.
Got injured last year and was replaced early in the tournament. Was so disappointed, and such is the class of the young man that he got back to New Zealand, worked hard to get back in this team, wanting to repeat what his brother Tima did in 2017, and that is lift the trophy. And New Zealand took a little bit of time to get into gear in the second half. 13 gone. They conceded the first try of the second half, and now they have struck back with some finesse and some outstanding play.
I know the game's ifs and buts, but you think back to Abanadze, the lovely breakout. Abanadze's kick to the corner, out on the full, and next thing you know, New Zealand are back on the attack.
Rehana.
Nope.
There's not. Dentro. I think that's in the middle. I think that's in the center. I'm looking for my Spanish translator behind me, but he's on his phone.
As we watch the power of Fainanuku going over. Lovely reverse pass. A pre-call the phase before, no doubt. Funaki, the young 18-year-old scrum half, puts his winger in
Substitution,
to give a bit of breathing space for the Baby Blacks.
If you've just joined us, hope you're enjoying our coverage of the 2019 World Rugby Under-20 Championship, coming to you from Santa Fe in beautiful Argentina. Flanders only knows one way. Former New Zealand secondary school representative picks and goes again, buys a few more meters. Funaki gets the throw out of the way and then puts the right foot down to Chichinadze, calls for the mark and gets it.
Difficult catch that. You know, he's looking right into the sun over his left shoulder. And Nana Saturo was coming up and then probably thought it best, safer to call the mark.
There is Abzanadze.
Georgia need to come again now, Willie. Great start to the second half. The heads don't need to go down. Still in this game, plenty of time to go.
10th in 2016, 10th in 2017, 9th last year.
Guys.
Now the men in the grey shirts and maroon shorts, the men in black, wow, 6 titles, 4th last year. They found it difficult over the summer season of lying in the sun with that thought as they work their magic to Rehana. Forbes straightens the line. Funaki, out to Herbert. Again, it's the forwards. Asked to carry it forward. He's been good for them today, Fletcher Newell. Tapia for Rehana. Nice line from Nanai Saturo. Gets rid of Abzanadze. Now to the left. Who else? He's been everywhere. Fletcher Newell. Good set of skills as well for a big man. They go a little wider. Here's Whainganuku from the left wing looking for some work on the right. Nanai Saturo normally wears 11, we're in 14. Plumtree. So 7 phases. Again, the decoy runners, and once again, the full width of the field. Forbes gets it out to Tapia. Rumbles to get a few more meters, and now Funaki gets into position.
Yeah, they're just going through the phases. Funaki's really brought a bit of order. They're just trying to wear the Georgians down, create that overlap.
Quick hands from Tapia onto Herbert, who's got a mortgage on the left wing. There go the 2 locks. Plumtree with his second carry in these 11 phases. Now they're 5 short. Funaki gets it to McLeod. He gives a nice pass to Flanders. He's lost it forward.
Disappointing end to great approach play. It was a good read from winger Marginishvili, which stopped one overlap. We've seen an earlier try, the first try, in fact, from Plumtree. This fantastic finish coming in from flanker Herbert. Look at this, in the air, all you young fellas out there. And upper body strength and feet from Dallas McLeod. They were the first half tries from New Zealand, and Georgia struck back at the start of the second half, but the Whainganuku try has really calmed things down here as New Zealand hold on to the ball and try to squeeze Georgia.
655 graduates have come through from 2012. What does that suggest to you about this tournament?
It's a fantastic development tool, Willie, clearly, and you know, you talk about earlier, all those All Blacks have gone on to win 2 World Cups. Now, Sam Whitelock, 108 Test caps, and he started his development at this championship, and that goes for all of these players. You know, we're looking at 2 Georgian internationals, full internationals playing today. What a stepping stone it is.
Well, they will be used, I would suggest, in their Rugby World Cup. You can see the amount of tackles that they've had to make as well. 48 more than New Zealand. That's starting to take its toll now.
Don't forget, Willie, it's a development tool for the officials as well. Andrea Pirardi doing very well today in the middle.
And they've made a change as well. Mikael Alania is off in jersey 21, the 18-year-old Georgi Magaladze out of the Academia Club. I don't want to say this too loud, but Georgia is the best kept secret in Europe.
Yeah, I've never been there, but I would love to go.
Oh, honestly, it was 3 years ago. The hospitality that they showed everybody from World Rugby was incredible. And it was a mark of where they wanted to be, because they have not been out of the championship since then.
Oh, what a scrum.
Great scrum. It's gone down, though.
Tevdo Arashvili, Kakadze and Karashvili coming on have really caused problems in that front row. As good as young Fletcher Newell has been in the open play, he's having his work cut out in the set piece.
On this, okay? Just bind on the back, on side, not on this.
The junior Lelos had their best ever results in the World Rugby Under 20 Championships last year. And there's the gain line success, but they had victories against Ireland, Scotland and Japan, and they will meet Scotland in their final match, full play.
Who lost today quite heavily to South Africa. So Scotland will look at this and not relish playing them, that's for sure.
Or scrummaging against them. Now they've got to use it, says the ref, and so Magaladze gets it out. The kick over the top will find space, and Forbes is in great position out to Nanai Saturo. Immediately into the contact. I know they've missed a number of tackles, 26 the Georgians, and it's starting to add up now as McLeod gives it back to his first five, finding Nuku, who's been one of the try scorers for this New Zealand team today. Here he is again. Boy, he has some great stats. As Klein comes on the field in jersey 16, Funaki to Reihana to Forbes, the Finau. Lateral movement here from the New Zealanders. Not too much of a net gain after 6 phases, and now they'll look to try and work it into the hands of Tapia. Looking for the steal. Well, Georgia had the opportunity, but then they couldn't get it as Funaki gets isolated.
Take on! 21 away.
Good understanding from the Georgian players. English not their first language, and so good discipline shown. Funaki to Forbes. He'll take it to the line. Props arrive to secure it. Again, they strike back, and Klein gets a nice short ball to a running player through a gap. The decoy runner. Finding Nuku halfway through to McLeod. McLeod offloads, and Tapia will score. Bang, bang. The midfield combined, and Quinn Tapia, the former New Zealand secondary schools captain, gets his name on the score list.
Well, it's a classic New Zealand try. I said earlier that Funaki has come on, the young scrum half, and he's brought a bit of order. And New Zealand are just trying to wear Georgia down, go around the corner, create an overlap. And it came, albeit with a great offload from Fainaku, and Dallas McLeod showing his strength again to put his centre partner, Quinn Tapia, who's had a good game in. And that really, for me, puts to bed the game, Willie. But credit New Zealand for coming back after a difficult start to this second half, showing their class in the white channels.
Did you say put the baby to bed?
Put the game to bed.
We've been calling them the baby black, so I understand you may have got a little bit confused here, but their ability to hold on to possession, their ability to offload, they're 17-1. You mentioned it earlier, those offloads, they've really started to take its toll in the gain line success of this young baby black side.
There we see it again. It created the overlap. Fainaku just sucked 2 defenders in. And Dallas McLeod has shown his strength in scoring 1 try in the first half and then creating another in the second.
19-6 was the scoreline. Georgia scored first in the second half to bring them back in the contest, but then 2 quick tries to New Zealand has extended that lead again. Flanders runs into Kusharashvili. His dad, Alex. He also played for the Georgians as they go on to the attack through the new man who's come on, Billy Proctor. The brother of Matt Proctor, who's involved in the Hurricanes. Billy, of course, contracted to them as well. Released from Super Rugby.
Advantage. Too slow. 18.
To play in this contest, there's Fainaku again. So they've got an advantage here, New Zealand. They won't want to come back for the penalty.
Push back.
Their theory is to keep ball in hand and to move the bigger pack along. And now it's been intercepted. Referee will come back.
18. Too slow.
Gav Taradze was off to the races and no one was going to catch him.
18.
Penalties against 18th Georgia. Karashvili.
Oh, I kind of wish the advantage was over.
What a moment it would have been. What for the young Zurab Kavtaradze on the wing. Had little to do really today.
Second time The World Rugby Under-20 Championships have been in Argentina. We were here 9 years ago when New Zealand were dominant. And this is looking like a very good New Zealand outfit. Still plenty of water to go under the bridges before we get to the business end, but not even having to jump for the ball on that occasion is Grace to Paya. Supported by Proctor in the midfield. Whainga Nuku's everywhere. And Funaki gets it to Whainga Nuku, who's just lost it forward. And now Chichinate. Love the attitude from the Georgian fullback.
Back.
Magaladze gets it out to the concrete mixers. That's good work from Kagadze. Charged down, carried back, so it'll be a scrum here. In fact, it's 22 rather.
Great follow-up from George Dyer. You know, the prop that's come on to get up there and charge down. Just looking a little weary now, the Georgians. They put a great shift in attack and defence. They're on the set piece.
We'll have a look at this player coming on. He's the heaviest player in the tournament. Kaliopasi Ului Lakepa. He's the human standing in jersey 18 that is going to catch the ball right now.
Look out.
Charge. And he goes into the contact of Vimradze. Grace. It's been good for them today. As Callan Grace, the 19-year-old out of Canterbury in the South Island of New Zealand. Here he is again. He's got such a big engine. Happy to do all the hard work. They look for Whainga Nuku on that occasion. It's gone forward now. Real chance here for Georgia because they've got some numbers down that right-hand flank. In the spirit of the game, they're going to keep throwing everything at it here, Georgia. And now a nice little short ball to Magaladze.
My goodness, look at the size of him.
Here's the good news. He's only 20.
Well, his food bill's going to be pretty big, Willie, I would say. And let's give a mention for the guy he's replaced. Tight head Fletcher Newell. What a game he had in open play. When you got a man like that to come on, well, that's going to all go well for New Zealand the rest of the tournament.
Look at that. The carries and the meters. 520 meters for New Zealand. This was the try that they got, which gave them some confidence to the start of the second half. And then all of a sudden, Whainga Nuku did the Houdini and went down Main Street, and then he got involved again with a lovely offload, and Tapia was in for their second try of the second half, fifth of the match.
It's the offloads that's killed them. When New Zealand have been direct and won up, Georgia have been able to contain them in defence, but 19 offloads to 1 tells the story, and that translates into the meters made. When you get into Whainga Nuku's hands, and then it takes its toll in terms of tackles. 148 tackles, twice as many tackles as New Zealand have had to make. They're missing 31 of those, but they're getting weary.
This will be considered as a success for Georgia, and we need to make recognition of that. 55-0 3 years ago. The work that's got on between the union and the players and the wonderful coaching of this Georgian team has meant they have not been out of the World Championship since that date in 2016 where they were taught a lesson.
They're far more organised, Willie. Their set piece is good. Their forwards have worked tirelessly. But if you look at the difference between the sides, we've rarely mentioned the centre three-quarters, the wingers of Georgia, whereas we're constantly mentioning Dallas McLeod, Tupai, Nana Senturu, Whainga Nuku. We're mentioning those guys for New Zealand. So the development for Georgia is to bring on the platform that they've got and introduce some backs and expand their game. And that'll come with time. That'll come from playing in the World Rugby Under-20s Championship.
Clean ball from Lasha Gashvili there, you can see with the long hair, and he's held up in the air. More easy meters for the Georgians.
Abadzadze will look to put this, was actually going to be the fullback, the man of the moment. Chichidze, can he get it close? Can he give his forwards an eye of the line? Not quite.
If you're looking for players of the day in a beaten team, don't go past Gusha Rashvili, the blindside flanker with the distinctive hairstyle you can see there. He has done his core jobs. He has been terrific. He has been like Superman for this Georgian team. There he is.
And he's been the go-to man in the line-out, hasn't he? There he is.
Right on cue. Brings the ball down and they give it to Vimradze. He's swallowed up by the human man. Wheeler kept it. Herbert tries to get the turnover and he can't now. Kagadze. Hansen spins. Goes a little wider, and New Zealand thought that they had a chance to get in and steal the ball, but they can't. Now, forwards and backs get interested, and now Kavtaradze out on the right wing. Picked up by Tetorashvili. He thought about having a go, but now here he is, the man of the moment. Gusharashvili rejected. Good shape here. Chichinatse straight into the contact. The forwards arrive quickly. The counter-up comes in from the New Zealanders, and then they release the ball. 5 phases. They've gone from side to side, east to west. They need to start going from south to north. Someone needs to go straight. In the red zone they go, just momentarily. Now another big shot coming in on Magaladze. Replacement in Magiani. Running wide and getting isolated and then losing the ball. Nanai Saturo, no one in behind. The chip kick is a good one going back as Chichinatse. Picked up by Nanai Saturo. He gets it in field now to Parker. Parker with the pass to Plyer. He's got players there, offloads it. Oh, New Zealand, stop it! Gregory Dyer. The big prop has run.
Check,
And
TMO.
to score, they're going to have to check here. But George Dyer is going to tell everyone in New Zealand
Dangerous tackle.
he's run 100 metres.
Well, they're checking for foul play, but New Zealand defence into attack. Naina Saturo involved, little dink ahead. I thought it was a knock-on.
That's where it might
You're
be.
in
They're
position.
checking again. And
We are looking for.
I think if you're a New Zealander,
This
you
is the
hope
big
it's not
screen.
Nane Saturo. In fact, there it is. It's Tupaya.
Shoulder, 13 black. Contact. Now.
Well, again, it's the contact of the shoulder into the head. The question the referee would be thinking to himself, is foul play evident, yes or no? And if he deems it yes, he will go through his process of any
From what I
mitigating
see,
circumstances.
I don't think it's clear enough to give a penalty. For me, he hit the ball, not the neck or the head of the player. Tried to use his arm. So, like this. So, I don't see a clear foul play here.
Well, the referee saying he
There
doesn't
is
agree.
Image. Another
That's the
picture.
image. This is the last image. This is the best one.
I cannot see a clear foul play here.
Okay.
So stay with the
So the try stands,
with the try.
and that's good
Okay.
from the Italian referee. He's made his mind up. There was no foul play there, and play on.
Yep.
Try awarded to George Dyer, and by tonight he would have run 100.
Well, he's just charged the ball down and involved heavily in the defensive passage, and he was on the end of a great bit of attacking play. Simon Parker just on the field as 2 points are added by Ray Harner. But they turn defence quickly into attack. Nanai Saturo involved, on to Parker, and my goodness, loose head prop, George Dyer on the end of it.
I like what we've got here. Safety is paramount in our game, and so they're checking, but the fact that Chichinadze got to his feet so quickly, played on, and that the referee says no, I was there and in real time, it was fine, we carry on. And now it's taken by Klein, in jersey 16. Here goes the try scorer, Dyer. He's confident. Funaki to Plumtree. Those tackles really starting to take their toll now. The kick from Funaki for Nanai Saturo to chase. Chichinadze is there and it's gone dead. They'll come back from the point of where it was kicked.
Yeah, Funaki's just trying to squeeze the game now. He's box kicked from the centre of the field quite a lot. Just they're happy with their lot, they're happy with their work. They will take turnover opportunities, turn defence into attack. They have the players to do that. But he's been impressive since he's come on, the young scrum half.
That's Mark White.
25 points the difference in this game. Is that a fair reflection, Sean Holly, that they have improved by 30 points in 3 years?
Yeah, I think so. And we talked a lot about their set piece, their forward play, but defensively, structurally, for me, they've been a lot better. They've been in the game. You know, straight after half-time, it was a one-score game, Willie. They've taken the lead in the game. So, yeah, there's huge developments for this Georgian team.
And they've scored points, which they didn't do 3 years ago. And look at the scrum. There's another lesson in how to scrummage. They tap and go. Well, they thought about tapping and going, but...
Well, that's been impressive this second half. Those three front rowers, my goodness, they've reveled in it, haven't they?
They could scrum all day, every day.
Yeah, I think if it was just about scrums, Georgia would be leading 38-30.
Wait. Okay, it's coming.
So, if you have just joined us, with regards to the jersey numbers, I know we're used to seeing from 1 to 23, but it's an experiment by World Rugby about player welfare, and there are some bigger numbers than we're used to.
Back on.
Five minutes to go. 5.
Thank you.
5 to play as the Georgians look to try and double their try-scoring account against the 6-time champions of the world. At the under-20 level, they split and find some way through the baby black wall. They'll get a penalty here, not rolling away quick enough.
You must roll. Was it tackle? You have to roll. 16.
So they'll go to the line out again.
Well, this is where we saw the Georgian try, wasn't it? They've won the penalty from the scrum. They've won the penalty from the maul. They go 5 meters out, and what have they got up their sleeve this time? We saw a back peel for the first try.
The main man that's won them the line-out ball has been replaced, and so who do they go to here? The all-important throw is a wobbly old one. Still got possession. The counter-ruck comes in from New Zealand. Have they kept their body weight? Still in possession. Pick and go, and the new players are on, and they're happy to put their shoulder to the wheel here. This will be a good contest at the breakdown and at the collision area. 3.5 to play. Uluila Kepa with a tackle. They go a little wider down the second channel of where there's a few less players. Penalty here, though. They held on. They got isolated. And I think it's Dyer again.
On his feet.
Well, what an impact he's made if it is.
17.
That's the development Georgia needs. You know, where's plan B? They've got the grunt when they're fresh and they've got the set piece, but New Zealand are just too wily in defence.
New Zealand will look to just close this out now. They haven't found touch and it's gone into the hands of Kavdaradze. Chinjanadze goes wide, goes around the corner in there. A tackle on Lumidze. They've gone 50 metres back, but they've got numbers out on the right-hand side. Good sniping run. It's gone backwards off a black hand.
No hands black.
Still in possession. Scoreline not a fair indication and not a fair reflection of just how this game has been. The Georgians have been involved in everything, but they've just got to those moments where they've got isolated. And they just needed somebody there to clean the ruck out. And Callan Grace.
2 minutes to go.
The two locks have been good for New Zealand today. Callan Grace in jersey number 4 and Tane Plumtree in 5. Their core jobs of winning line-out, pushing in scrums, and their work at the breakdown. Have a look at this. That is great play from a big lock. You normally see a player with number 7 on his jersey doing that responsibility, doing that core job.
Come on, mate.
Rehana stepping off the rights. In the red zone they go, and now the replacements get excited, and Boscher's on in jersey 21. Here's Dyer's already scored one. Dropped the shoulder, thought he might be able to get the double. Funaki gets it out to Finau. Been involved in everything right in the first minute as he lost that ball forward. Funaki goes in and steals it. Now they get a little wider. Mua.
Push back.
They look to try and hold him out. Ulalia Kepa goes to ground. The pick and go from Funaki is...
Time off.
Time off, says the ref, but that was Mua.
Time off. You see something? Timo? Santiago?
Yes, I'm here, Andrea.
My on-field decision is a try. Just check potential knock-on before the grounding.
Okay, we'll check it.
Thank you.
Jariah Mua. Well, they haven't gone back to halfway, the Baby Blacks, and that's normally a sign that he's not too confident. So here was the initial break from Finau. Thought the ball may have gone forward from here. Secured by Funaki. And then you'll see the big frame of number 22 there, Mua. And will eventually get involved. Oh, this is still part of the build-up. Maybe they were trying to show the referee the knock-on, the potential knock-on, and that's where they're going back to again. This here, is that a knock-on?
It's after this. So keep going.
Referee's happy. Says it's off the knee,
It's
keep
not
going.
Here. It's on the try line.
Andrea, can you hear me?
Yeah. It's
Knock
not
on.
here, the knock-on.
There's no try, knock on by Black. Scrum. Georgia.
Sorry, Santi.
Yep.
This is not the image that I want.
Which one do you
Because
want?
this one is ripped by great player, so it's play on. I want to see after,
Okay.
on the try line, if he
Okay.
lost the control of the ball or not.
Okay, no problem.
I'm happy with this.
Okay.
Just the final stage. Has he lost the ball forward?
ripped by-
It's there.
By
No
Gray,
problem.
The first one.
Terrific camera work from our crew here. And you'll see the big mitt of Moore with the ball. Grass, ball, Hand
Right.
hits the knee.
That's okay, so you may award the try.
So, try given. Moore gets his name on the score sheet, and New Zealand
Good.
hit 40.
30 to go. 30 to go. 30 seconds.
43 points to 13. 19-6 was the halftime score. And then the New Zealanders have scored 4 tries to 1 in the second half to extend that lead to 43-13. 30 seconds remains. You can hear that from the referee. And Revez Rehana might just use up all those 30 seconds. Job done.
Full time.
Conversion from Rehana's over. And the Baby Blacks take their first step
Well done,
to
boys.
another World Rugby under 20 title. And they have beaten Georgia by 45 points to 13. Yes, the Baby Blacks, they crawled their way through to a victory against the courageous Georgian team. 19-6 at the break. They then applied the pressure, and Georgia can take a lot of heart from this. They were beaten comprehensively 3 years ago, weren't able to score a point, and so for them, the fact they got on the try scoring board, they scored some points. And well, as for New Zealand, 4th ranked in France last year, they really came to Argentina with a mission after losing a game in the Oceania Championships to Australia. For them, it was business. Big moments and big games from the two locks. Grace and Plumtree were good. Keredu Symes, the captain, put in a full day's shift, even though he was replaced. And then the class of Rehana, Whainganuku, McLeod and Tupaia proved to be the difference. Georgia through Abzanadze, Gushirashvili, Tabladze, and also their fullback Chinchinadze. The Georgians, their moment didn't happen today, but they are not too far away, and they're hoping that they can stay in the competition in 2020. I've been here since 2016. The New Zealanders have been in the competition since 2012. Let's get some reaction now. I'm sure Keanu Keredu Symes is very happy, and he's alongside Sean Holly.
Keanu, congratulations. A great first win in the World Championship Under-20s tournament. You must be delighted.
Yes, the boys played real well. We're happy with how we played, but there's a lot to work on, so that's a good start for us.
We scored some great tries. Your backs in particular look really sharp. I mean, what did you say to them at half-time?
Yeah, the boys did score good tries, but it wasn't planned. We weren't playing in structure, so I think that's a good work on for us. But the lads knew at half-time the Georgians were going to keep bringing it like they did in the game, and that's exactly what they've done. And I think we're able to just keep our intensity up and step it up another level when the replacements come on, so that's a good positive for us.
And a lot of credit should go to the Georgians for the hard task they gave you, particularly around the set piece.
Yeah, we knew they were going to bring it, they definitely did. So we're glad we got through it, but also there's a lot to improve on there. So we'll flush that result and we'll move on to the next.
Congratulations, Kenny. Good luck in the next game.
45-13 to the Baby Blacks. 3 tries in the first, 4 in the second half. This is a young side, the Georgian team. They are young. They've got 9 players back from last year, and they also want to make sure that they can get the victory in their last match against Scotland. But their captain is Tito.
Commiserations, a difficult game. You played your part in a great game here at Santa Fe, but you must be disappointed.
Yeah, we we just play. I think we just play very well, but we made a few mistakes in defense after the last 20 minutes. So that is why we lose this in this game. So we will still working on about our mistakes. And next game against South Africa, so we will still work about that.
You had a lot of possession and you got close to New Zealand just after half-time. You must be pleased the way the scrum went.
Yeah, we were really close, but we made a few mistakes about the last try. So that is why we did not lose this game. So it's disappointed, very disappointed, but we're still working on about that.
But Georgia very much develop inside and making progress. You must be confident going into the next games.
Yeah. We just we will working on about the second game, and we will play about win against South Africa. So we can everything. We show that, and we will work.
Good luck for the next game, Tedo.
Thank you very much.
That's a terrific young man, heading in the right direction, studying medicine, and a very good crowd in here today too. Glorious conditions here in Santa Fe, a beautiful city in this beautiful country of Argentina. And just confirming the pool table now with the 2 matches played, South Africa getting the job done against Scotland by 43-19, and New Zealand in a similar scoreline have defeated Georgia by 45 points to 13. And as mentioned, the Baby Blacks take their first step towards World Rugby Under-20 title number 7. Thank you and goodbye. Thanks, Joanne. Thanks, everybody.